You know what I mean? There was a lot of games. Let's start off with the game to start off the Sunday slate, which was in London early in the AM.
Yeah.
The Jacksonville Jaguars get blown out by the LA Rams. Matthew Stafford, dark horse for MVP, that's for sure. 5 touchdowns he had in this game. 5. Devontae Adams proves everybody that he's still here. Devontae Adams is still that guy. Puka Nacua is injured. Don't you worry. You got Devontae Adams in his prime. Basically, vintage Devontae going out there making some plays all over the place. Are the Jacksonville Jaguars frauds? Maybe, because I'm telling you this, dude. Trevor Lawrence stinks. I'm someone that's been trying to dude, I'm watching that game. I'm like, dude, yeah, bro, he's just trash. I just got to keep it how it is, bro. He was lost in that game, and they kept going for it on 4th and long, and he's just I don't know, man. He's just obviously not a great quarterback. But TD, your thoughts of that matchup between the Rams and the Jaguars?
Yeah, it was funny because it was the epitome of a Trevor Lawrence game. The stats were there, had almost 300 yards, but 1 touchdown in this game. Good enough not to be good enough, in my opinion. But I did like that the Jags finally started getting Travis Hunter involved. 8 receptions for over 100 yards in his first NFL touchdown, by the way. So he finally gets his touchdown in the NFL. But this is really about the Rams. They're a legitimate team. Everybody thought, man, the Jags are good this year. The Jags ain't playing nobody, ladies and gentlemen. To be saying, oh, the Jags are good this year. Why? Because they beat the Panthers, who are also a middle-of-the-road team. You know, they lost to the Bengals, who that's one of the worst teams in the league right now. Yeah, you beat the Texans when they were down. You beat the 49ers when they were down. And the impressive win was the Chiefs one. But, again, everybody, the way that they look at that game is like the Chiefs were down at first, and now they're starting to pick it back up. When they get all their weapons back. So the Jags, they're a good team, Richie, but they're like a 7th seed if they do make the playoffs, and it'll probably be a first-round exit, and if they get lucky, second. It's not a Super Bowl contending team. The Rams are, ladies and gentlemen, they are a legitimate team, a legitimate contending team, and yes, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and tell y'all that the Rams, they might be creeping themselves into that role to be the team to beat. And also Matthew Stafford, huge 5-touchdown day. And when you look at his statistics on the season, he is top 5 in the MVP conversation as well. At least he should be, in my opinion. All right. But the Rams put a whooping on these boys, really gave them the business. You also look at the fact that the Puka Nacua news, but Adams absolutely was a tear in this. What do you have? 2-3 touchdowns? Something like that?
Yep.
Just went off. I have him on my fantasy team, so I kept getting the notifications. So that was pretty dope.
TD, your mic is muffled again. Make sure you lower those levels.
Shouldn't be. Is it still muffled now?
Yeah. TD's underwater.
I don't know why.
Sounds better now.
I don't know why.
Maybe an XLR cable issue.
Yeah, I might have to just put another cable on this and see what's going on. But they were also 4 for 4 in the red zone, 2 for 2 on 4th downs. And that's huge for the Rams. They kept those sticks moving. The Jags couldn't do anything. 3rd down, they were 3 for 15. It was abysmal, but let's call it what it is. The Jags were undisciplined. They literally had 13 penalties in this game for 119 yards, and that's not going to win games. The only thing that was absent of this game that really hurts the Jags, they didn't even turn the football over, but they still got blown out. It's just a bad look through and through. Hey, going across overseas.
Oh, my goodness. What a game this was. Now, I don't know if you knew this, TD, but there was a lot of energy and a lot of beef heading into this game. There was a lot on the line. These two teams are not rivals. And it started with a player on the Broncos, Nick Benito, tweeted saying that the Giants have a delusional fan base. He deleted it, and then it created a fire from both teams' players going on social media. And then, of course, the fans jumped in, and it's Giants fans all over Twitter versus Broncos fans all over Twitter just going at it, just like, oh, this game's war. Like they are. Oh, my goodness. And boy, did it live up to that. It lived up to that. And the funniest part about it is Giants fans were gloating on Twitter like they won the game in the 4th quarter. And then the Broncos still were able to come out on top and win. I mean, that was a thriller game. That was an absolute thriller game. And the two quarterbacks that matched up in this game, TD, you know me, I'm on record to say I wanted both of these quarterbacks for the Jets. Bo Nix 2 years ago, I was high on, remember? And then last year, Jackson Dart. And they put on an absolute show. The New York Giants had a fantastic start to the game. We're up 26-8 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and somehow, some way, the Broncos come back and win the game. Jackson Dart throws an interception on a spot you can't do it. The Broncos score a touchdown, go for two, they get it. And then after the Broncos take the lead, the Giants come back, they retake the lead, and then the oh my God, what a thriller, man. What was your thoughts of this game? This is an all-time NFL comeback.
You know what this reminded me of? Patriots, Atlanta Super Bowl.
How so?
That's what it reminded me of.
And it was just wild, bro. It all happened in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you had, all in the fourth quarter. You're up, I think it was like 19-0 in the fourth. I think it was like 19-0 in the fourth quarter. The Broncos hadn't scored a single punt. They hadn't had a single great drive. And here we are in the fourth quarter, and they literally do 4 touchdowns in a row and a field goal all in one quarter. Let me tell you this, okay? See, these are the games where everybody would blame the defense. Oh, the defense sold in the fourth quarter. The defense literally 19-0 going into the fourth quarter. I'm sorry, your offense has to hold them off. Like, you shouldn't expect anything from the defense. And I'm going to tell you what lost this game, Richie. What lost the game was that interception.
Oh, yeah.
It's the turnovers, man. Like, that was the only turnover of the game, if I'm not mistaken. But that turnover was massive. And literally you were backed up in your own territory, and you basically gave them 1st and 10 from the 19 or the 20-yard line or something like that. You cannot turn the football over right there at that point of the field. That gave the Broncos the big momentum. It made the score 26-23. Now you got a nervous Giants. And what do? They go out and they punt the football. Then the Broncos go down and they take the lead. Now, Giants responded after that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought the game was over. I was like, man, this was a thriller. And Denver still had enough time and ability to get that game-winning field goal. But I'm going to say the Giants killed themselves in this one. And as good as he played, you cannot turn the football over. That's what it comes down to.
Debut and Patrick Mahomes, I mean, this was just a cruise to a victory, not really much to evaluate here. But I guess the narrative really is, are the dynastic Chiefs still alive? Because some people felt like that the Chiefs are finally done early on this season. I just want to remind everybody, they have won the AFC Conference 3 straight seasons and have won 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. So could they be back into the Super Bowl this year again? Your thoughts about the Chiefs with Rashee Rice coming back?
I mean, they're back. I mean, they're still not as good as they used to be, but they just had a performance of what they used to be, and they played. So if I see a few more games like that, makes all the sense in the world. But I'm going to tell you now, man, this game was lopsided. I don't know if you noticed, but if you go look at the time of possession, Richie, it was literally like 42-18. 42 minutes to 18, yes. The Raiders only had the ball for 18 minutes in this game. The Chiefs had it for 42 minutes, bro. And that tells you all you need to know. The Raiders are just that bad. I mean, only the Jets are probably worse. But the Raiders are truly that bad.
Dolphins too. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Listen, when your entire team doesn't even get 100 yards in the game, I think they had 90 or something like that. The whole game, Richie, that's all they had. The whole game. That, man, I'm shocked that we haven't gotten breaking news, to be quite honest with you. This is bad. I don't see the Raiders doing anything anytime soon. And this was a division game. You at least put up a fight in a divisional game. No fight whatsoever, 31-0. The Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to be all right. It's time for them to start rattling off victories. And I think they're going to start coming low-key where nobody's noticing, but right here, right now.
Now, what are your thoughts of this, man? Mr. Pat Mahomes is doing what he was doing a few years back. Remember, he took a few years off just in terms of lighting it up from a statistical standpoint. He is 1,800 yards, 14 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, all in the top 3, top 4 in the NFL. And this right here is probably the scariest sight for the league because, in my opinion, because a Mahomes that is efficient, a Mahomes that is on an MVP tear, that is a recipe for disaster. And I know some people still just don't want to give the guy credit, and he's just can't do this, can't do that. He's overrated. Refs help. I don't know, man. I don't have any skin in the game because the Jets stink. But if I was a team like even New England that's rising, a team that's like the Colts that's rising, it's like they're just ready for these Chiefs to go away so they could be a new victor in the AFC conference. But Mahomes is on an MVP tear. And he's, I think, the MVP favorite right now, and I know we'll get into the MVP race eventually later on in the week after tonight's done because we got Drake May still playing like he could be in the conversation for sure. Daniel Jones, which we're about to get into. Baker Mayfield, let's see what he does tonight with Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford. But your thoughts of Mahomes so far this season?
Yeah, he moves up. I think he's in my top 6 or 7 MVP race right now. In another performance like that, he'll breach my top 5. I'm pretty confident. He's playing out of his mind right now, being very efficient, not turning the football over as well, starting to make better decisions. And that offense is opened up because they have the plethora of weapons now in their main roles that they were supplementing for from the beginning of the season with guys out for whatever reason. But yeah, Chiefs are doing the Chiefs things, and Mahomes is right back where he's been. But again, it's the Raiders. I think they have a really good game coming up. They got the Commanders, the Bills, Broncos, Colts, Cowboys, Texans, Chargers. They got a brutal schedule coming up.
All right, what about this guy, Mr. Daniel Jones? Could he be the dark horse for the MVP? Getting another win, this time on the road against the Chargers. The Colts are legit. The Colts are the real deal. And it's crazy that TD used that narrative just to prove how the Dolphins are not as bad as we think. So I think your take there, TD, is still proven to be incorrect because your angle of saying the Colts are the best team in the NFL was just to minimize the loss the Dolphins took. But I don't think you realize it would actually manifest into how great the Colts are and how bad the Dolphins are.
Yeah,
so I think
it's just not true.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Come on.
not
Can
what
you just
was
admit
happening.
it, please?
No, I don't.
Can you
need
just
to
admit it after week 1, bro? You're saying that just to minimize the Dolphins' loss. It wasn't more about the actual thoughts of the Colts.
See, I kept saying to you, Rich, I kept telling everybody after what I saw from Daniel Jones and the type of throws he was making and the accuracy, regardless of how good or bad the Dolphins are, that was legitimate gameplay that I saw from him. It was big time play. And yeah, like you look at his numbers on the year, he's right there with Mahomes in yards, 2 less touchdowns, probably got it rushing, and 1 more interception, but a higher QBR. But yeah, Daniel Jones has been playing great football. He's been protecting the football. He's been doing his job with his team, not being a reason they lose, and that's why they're winning. And they find themselves sitting at 6-1. And very impressive performance in Jonathan Taylor, man. Like, we forget about this guy. At least people forget about him. The man punched in 3 touchdowns on the day. Just phenomenal work. Phenomenal work. Oh, big ups to the Colts. And Daniel Jones is going to make or break this team. And right now he's making it. So we'll see how long this lasts. See if he can change his name like Baker Mayfield or not.
Yeah, Flicks brings up a good point. The Colts are the 2024 Vikings.
No, I totally disagree. And this is where Rich loses me because the Colts have actually played some good competitive teams, and like teams that are viewed to potentially make the playoffs, and they beat them and they played well. The Vikings last year, all the good teams they played, they lost because Sam Darnold played bad in those games. And it wasn't many. It was only like 3 or 4. But it showed itself. That's the difference.
Jalen Hurts, 300-plus passing yards, high completion percentage, 3 passing touchdowns. Wow. That's a new version of the Eagles. What was your thoughts of Jalen Hurts opening up the pass attack?
Uh, he had to come out and throw the ball well and erase what happened last week, and that's what he did. He basically told everybody, chill out. Y'all panicking. I had a bad game, but I don't have many of those. Let me show you why. And he came out and he did his thing, especially on key downs. That's the key here. On key down situations, he really did do his thing. Brian Flores' hand got caught in the cookie jar on the one-on-ones on the outside with the blitzes, him just throwing it up to A.J. Brown and a few guys, beating their guys one-on-one, really hurt the Vikings. But the reality in this game, what really helped the Eagles in this game and hurt the Vikings, Wentz through those 2 picks, man. Wentz through those 2 picks. And you can't have that. And that's where you really blow it for your team. And when you look at it, wasn't one of them, if I'm not mistaken, was one of them, did they cash in on one of them? Was it a pick 6? Let me see here. Yeah. It was a pick 6. That was early in the game. When that pick 6 happened, the score was 7-3, and then you made it 14-3. And the whole time, it was pretty much 14-3 until, right before the fourth quarter, when the Eagles finally made that big old play because they had like 84 yards in that drive, but they struck it downfield, and they end up getting in the end zone. And I thought the game was completely over at that point, even though the Vikings defense had kept them in the game the whole time. And finally, the Vikings go down the field and they score on offense and they make the game literally right there in reach, 21-16. And it came down to late game execution.
Yeah, I think that the Eagles are proving they could beat you in multi-dimensional ways. Everyone thought it was just running, tush-push, Saquon, but they're obviously the Super Bowl champions for a reason. They went through a little lull.
Saquon only had 44 yards, by the way.
He doesn't have a game
down the run.
Saquon hasn't had a game over 100 rushing yards yet this season. Remember last year he had 170 a game, basically.
But the crazy thing in this one, they tried. He had 18 carries, Richie, only 44 yards. They like 2.2 a carry. That the Vikings defense said, you're not running. Hurts got to beat us. But again, Hurts did this time, though. He did. So there you have it.
But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But let's move right along. Did you win any money this weekend on Sleeper? Because they were giving you $20 for free. And make sure you guys check them out for tonight's game. Two games tonight, actually. 2 Monday Night Football games that we can be excited about. So make sure you guys go check out. The code is RTS when you sign up with Sleeper. Don't forget to use our code right now, folks, by signing up. Get a 100% match up to $100. Using code RTS, getting a $20 entry for free. And you also get your deposit matched up to $100. Big time shout out to Sleeper, as always.